pink water bottle. I got my shiny pink water bottle. See, I wish I had a link for this and I wish it was mine because I'd sell it right now because this is the best water bottle ever. What am I trying to say to y'all? Every business owner has some levels of triggers or challenges between their vision and actually getting their vision in the hands of their customers and clients. Am I right or am I right? Or how many guys, you guys in a position where you're like, everything's working so good in my business. I have no issues. I have no challenges. I just call BS to that. That's impossible, right? We have some challenges. And so today we are dedicating the on-demand to entrepreneurs' most pressing, challenging questions. And I am going to encourage the on-demand people here on Zoom with me to just really, I want you to think about what is the biggest, most challenging question you have, either personally or business-wise. And I want to start by doing this. So you guys on the on-demand, I would love it if you could please go ahead and put your hand up if you want to ask me a question around this. And if you're not putting your hand up, I'm just going to call you forward and just say, like, have a higher standard for yourself, right? Like, there's no point that, like, the game of entrepreneurship, the game of financial freedom is not passive. It is not passive. At some point, we have to grab a hold of our fears and throw them out and say, I'm afraid of public speaking. I'm going to throw it out. I'm afraid Shanda's going to rip me apart. I'm going to throw it out. And you want to be so hungry that you're willing to be embarrassed to be able to get what you need to succeed. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I remember being so afraid to speak. I used to hide in the bathroom. People would ask me if I'd speak. I'd hide in the bathroom. I'd pretend like I was sick. And I was very, let's just say, the opposite of courage. Okay, because I cared so much about what other people thought about me. I cared so much about my peers judging me and me being good enough that I would not take the stage because I lacked courage. Until finally I said to myself, you know what, I'm going to let my coach see me. She's going to see every part of me, whether I'm good, I'm bad, whatever. And that was my breakthrough year. It was my breakthrough moment because my coach stood up and said, she has an it factor. You guys, what if today was the day that you got seen? What if today was the day that the devil lost his grip over your life and your mind, right? Like, it's like that thought in your mind that holds you back. What if today, and that's what my intention is. My intention is to bring light to whatever the problem is, because I want to show you that every problem is a lie. It's a lie. And that whatever it is that's in your heart, we're going to get it this year. You guys ready? Because I know when you pass this next test, there's a whole new door opening. There's like a whole new level. And when that whole new level opens, then you're going to have a whole new set of problems. And I want you to now look at problems as deserved, but they are not real. You just haven't figured out a way through yet. Okay. So Billy, let's pop you up.
Boom.
Billy, let's pop you up. You guys on Instagram will have to listen to Billy and unfortunately look at me and not Billy and listen to him. Okay, so Billy, go for it.
You hear me?
Yep, I can hear you perfectly.
Boom. Okay, so what's triggering me is that recently I made an investment and I took some money out of my HELOC, and then for whatever reason, it's just bothering me that that money's out because whatever I invested in didn't pan out the way that I wanted to. So I'm focusing on that lag when I already know, like, I'm not supposed to be focusing on that lag, but focus on the possibility that's going to help clear that out. So how would you approach that if you were me?
Yeah, so I don't want to say this person's name because I don't want to give them a bad reputation because they didn't do anything wrong. But I invested in a friend of mine, and I wanted to learn how to buy businesses and sell them, right? And it's so funny. It's like, anyway, I won't get into that. But so I invested $25,000. And I said to my husband, I said, all right, we're going to buy and sell some businesses and we're going to grow through customer acquisition. I was like fired up, right? Because all my friends who have grown really fast, like really fast, there's a common thread. They have purchased businesses, right? They've purchased other relatable businesses, either for the customer base or the cross sell or the education because they're not educated, whatever, right? A technology. So I go over to this guy's house and he basically tells me, he goes, your operations are not set up to buy business. And I'm like, snap. Like, I was like, darn it. And so he goes, and so I had to pivot on the spot and go, okay, I'm sitting in front of this person who has lots of value. What else? How else could I lead this? And then I came home and Ash was like, how was the VIP day? And I was like, well, I basically said that my operations isn't set up, so I couldn't go get what I intended to get. And Ash has a whole story around this because he's like, you're the only person I know that can squeeze juice and still make it profitable, right? When it wasn't that. So I share that with you because from that meeting, I pivoted and I went and I actually cleaned house on my team. And let me share something with you. That was the worst thing I ever did. Okay, so I am going back right now and rehiring that team. 2 years later, and one of the first year that I did it, we lost $6 million because of doing that leadership shift. Okay, like, so I share this with you because sometimes part of the walk, like, I don't trust somebody who says that they like, that they just don't have these stories. Do you know what I mean? Because then you have no wisdom. Does that make sense? Like, your wisdom comes from so much more from what didn't work and what did you do with it. So another scenario, I lost 2 homes in '08 and '09, 3. I lost 3 homes into foreclosure. And it wasn't until I stopped, and this is what I think you're trying to do right now, it wasn't until I stopped looking at what I was losing and I looked for the opportunity, which was I had no overhead, right? Like my mortgage or rent, like some of our biggest bills are where we live, right? And I was like, they're gonna foreclose on this thing anyway. I'm like, I'm just gonna live in this one for as long as I can, which was stressful because there was foreclosure notices. I didn't know when all my clothes were gonna be gone. And so I basically looked at the cost of, if I don't move out of here before they foreclose, I will lose my clothes, my makeup, my shoes, all the stuff that I have. So what can I do to make that cost worth it? And I built Hardcore, right? Like I literally used that run. I had so much energy because when I stopped feeling like a loser, I'm not saying you're in that spot, but I felt like a loser losing 3 homes. Like I felt like a total, like just a degenerate, right? But it wasn't until I stopped feeling that way. And here's what I did. I wrote what I'm proud of myself for and why. And I committed to doing that 2 times a day. By the 3rd day, an investor walked into my life and gave me money. I didn't pay my mortgages. I let them go into foreclosure and I used that money to build my business. Does that make sense? And so I don't know what you're walking through, but if there's anything I can do, you always know you can call me. And I will jump on a call with you. I will help you. You know, you are someone I'm willing to invest in because you're willing to invest in yourself. You know what I mean? If it's like an outside investment, like a crypto, I'm so pissed I pulled out of Bitcoin. I'm so pissed I pulled out of Bitcoin. I was the dumbest ever did, was pull out of Bitcoin, right? And so, you know, this is what I mean. Like you make decisions and you lose. And opportunity cost is the real thing. So you got to learn from it. I know that, like you know, that you just got to stay in it. You can't go in and out of the market. You can't go in and out of masterminds. You got to stay in it and expand where you're at. And you got to look at what's not working and not believe that the what's not working is wrong. It's pulling something else out of you. So when I give you that information, what is it pulling out of you right now? Like, how do you need to take this and make it win for you?
So for me, it's the mess becomes the message, right? And you get the pivot by saying, okay, look at what didn't work so that you can move forward without doing those things again. And then you just stay out on track and you look at
But
the target.
if you can take the fire of the breakdown and bring it to content, I mean, look at like the Ed Millett's of the world or the Tony Robbins. Like, I don't know, how old's Tony Robbins right now, you guys? I mean, he's up there. Do you know what I mean? And talk about problems. He's losing his voice. Before COVID, the doctors were telling him he had to cancel his events because his throat was bleeding. And they're like, you cannot lead an event. And he's like, I've never canceled an event. That's his standard. He's like, I'm doing the event. They're like, you're gonna kill, you're gonna lose it. He's like, I'm not doing an event. That's massive contribution. Some of you guys think that's dumb, and maybe it is, but for him, that's his standard, that I am never letting people down. If I said I was gonna be there, I'm gonna be there. And then COVID shut him down, right? Like, just, it is what it is. So that was probably a big blessing for his throat. But I don't know what y'all standards are, but here's what my standard is. You lose money, you turn it around. You don't lose money. You don't lose money. I think Warren Buffett says that. You don't lose money. So there's a way to turn this thing around so you don't lose money. Make sense? There is.
Keep working. That call is coming.
Okay. All right. So you got it. So I want you to now write down, what do you need to do? Like, write it down. Okay. Like, don't let this moment go by. Like, ignore me for a second and write it down. All right. Thanks, Billy. Britt, I want your hardest questions, right? Like, I want the entrepreneur question that is like, behind closed doors, you ain't going any further because of this thing, right? Like, what is this? Let's expose the lie. Go for it, Britt.
Hope this is that. My biggest trigger right now is when a client is disappointed, especially when I feel like I could have taken care of a client better or could have helped my team deliver better results for the client. I just feel like guilt and shame and anxiety, and I just kind of like freeze. And then it affects my sales because I'm like, oh, I suck. I don't know. I just go into this like story that takes forever to dig myself out of.
Okay, so who else can relate to Britt, that when you feel like you've let somebody down, that a customer, client, whatever, it's like this spiral effect, like emotionally, it really gets you. It actually hurts your ability to go sell again because you feel like, I'm not sure people are safe with me, right? Anybody else? Put me in the chat. Put me in the chat if that's you, okay? So she can see you. It really helps you guys for people to see that they're not alone, because this is how you expose lies. Okay, so is it true that you have to be so perfect that you never let anybody down to be good at your craft? Is that true?
No.
No way, you're human, right? You're human. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's, spiritual work, biblical work, peak performance work. I mean, the reason why all this training and education and support is out there is because by nature, we are human. Therefore, we sin, we hurt people intentionally and unintentionally, depending on our emotional level, right? And so you're human. We're all more alike than you think. You know what I'm saying? And so you got to find that place in your head that releases the pressure. So I'll give you what mine used to be when I battled with this. My first year of selling a coaching program, I can't remember how many people I had in it, but not one person got results. Not one. I was there. I coached them. I was a common denominator, right? And so I held that as if it was all me. I didn't lead them right. Now, standing where I'm standing, I can see the full picture, right? Like, my marketing lead gen people who really wanted to be in spirituality, not business. Does that make sense, you guys? And that is the truth. Those, like, I think about some of those women at the time, it was only women, and there is no way that they would jive in our results-driven Mentor Me Live mastermind today. I mean, listen, you guys, we call you forward to do end of day income. I make you feel like a putz if you don't do it, right? Like, I'm trying to hold you to a standard that says, listen, engage, right? Like, face what's not working, face your insecurity, engage, out yourself, be embarrassed about your numbers, just let whatever, or be proud of it. Like, let wherever you're at just be exposed so that you can be free. Right. And so here's what I did after that year. I said to myself, I was like, okay, those people needed a spiritual experience with me. And I know I gave it my all with them. I did my best. And so, if any of them would have asked me for their money back, maybe I could have given it to them. But I thought for the next, I used to sell in 90-day sales cycles. So I used to sell 2 times a year. That's how I built my business. And I would go to the calendar. I will tell you, your calendar represents your success. If it's not built into your calendar, you are winging it. Okay, that like I'm telling you, I have, and we all get better, right? So I have Jesse Itzler's, you know, the big ass calendar, right?
That's awesome.
And so, and there's things that he does in there that I think are really powerful. But like, I just saw a video with him and Sarah, and she said, she every year she had a goal of getting in shape. And this is a woman of, I think, 4 children, right? Is it 3, 4? 4 children, a crazy husband, a $1 billion company, multiple billion, and had children late in life, right? And built a company with $5,000, right, to where it was, and owned 100% of it. I share this with you because when I look at that, you think she'd have it all together and never falter. But I love how honest she is. She's like, every year I said I was going to get in the best shape of my life, and she had a real challenge with that. And Jesse said a couple of years ago, he said, let's build you into the calendar first, right? So my point in sharing that with you is that when I would sell in two 90-day increments, they were always in my calendar because I caught that pattern really quickly. But then you have to manage your emotions, which is where you're at right now. And I said to myself, well, when I'm in this next sales cycle, if I don't get results for these people, I'm just going to give them their money back. And when I told myself that over and over and over again, not only did I close some gaps in accountability and tracking, but it freed me up to sell again because I didn't feel fearful for the people buying from me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's super helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, so you should write that down right now so you don't have
Yeah,
amnesia. And that becomes your North Star. Okay?
awesome. Thank you.
What's your target this month?
I actually don't have a monthly target. I have a quarterly target.
What's that?
My quarterly target is 150,000.
Great, 150,000. So if you go in your calendar right now, is it representing that goal is going to happen? And
Uh,
if you don't know, like put up the calendar, like print it out. This is coaching for you all. Like my biggest aha right now is people's calendars are not representing their goals. They don't have anything scheduled in that holds them accountable to selling or prospecting or filling an event. I don't know, right? There's nothing. It's just like you're working. And that to me is winging. Okay, that's winging it. So open the calendar and go, does my calendar represent my quarterly goals? And if the answer is I don't know, then say, well, how do I don't know is it doesn't. So you say, how do I make sure no matter what, I don't break my word to myself? What do I need to do to give myself really like a security blanket that it's going to happen? And you need to put that in the calendar. Okay?
awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Awesome. That's probably the best coaching you're all going to get all year. I'm not kidding you. If you want to say one piece of coaching that I could give you right now that will change your whole year is to print out your calendars, ask yourself what your quarterly goal is, right? If this is helping, right? If this goal idea is helping, write the word goal in the chat. So I can go back and read and know, write the word goal in the chat if this is helping, okay? So I want you to set the goal that today, not tomorrow, don't ignore me on this, okay? Like you've got to stop doing it your way that's not getting the results that you want if it's not. Print your calendar out. Even if you're already $1 million income earner or above, print your calendar out, or you're just starting. I don't care what your excuse is to not do it. Print your calendar out. And when you print your calendar out, I want you to put the next 3 months up and ask yourself, what are your goals over the next 3 months? Where do you want to be in 3 months from now? What does success look like? Write these sentences down, these questions down, and answer them. What does success look like in 90 days from today? Okay, right. I don't see anybody writing it down. Write that question down and ask yourself, what does success look like in 90 days? What does your bank account look like? What does your time look like? What does your body feel like? And maybe you don't care about your body, then don't put it in. but you need to know, what does success look like? I will tell you, I am enrolled in a beach tennis or pickleball lessons. Okay. And it's built into my calendar. I feel like I live in a country club and I need to be taking lessons to take advantage of the country club and getting to know more people, right? It's really important to me. And like Sarah not working out until she put it in the calendar, if it's not in the calendar, it's not going to happen. I'm really good at putting business into the calendar. Yes, got it? Got it? Hey, Zach. Okay, good. Talking about calendar, he has a Spanish pod starting in 4 minutes, and I wanted to make sure that daddy's got him. So we don't like to outsource taking our son to karate or pods, or we work on it together. And so I just never want to have a kid that the nanny or somebody is doing that stuff. I want to take him or his dad takes him. So that's a standard for us. Okay. So now as you're looking at the next 9 days, what does success look like? Then if your calendar doesn't represent it, just do your best. It's going to be way better than you not doing this activity. Do your best and ask yourself, what do you need to put in the calendar? What commitments do you need to put in the calendar to make sure you have a good shot at succeeding? And you know you. So if you're like, I'm going to fill an event with one Zoom call, you know it's not going to happen. Right? Because you never got anybody on a Zoom call before in your entire life. So it means maybe that's not a good strategy for you. You guys get what I'm saying? Like, don't run risky strategies. Run strategies you know are already somewhat in your ability to do. Everybody could pick up a phone. Everybody could go to instant messenger on Facebook and message, hey, Zach, you've got the pod. Go get your dad. No, like now, buddy. Zach, we are not late for things. Get up the stairs quickly. I want to see your little feet go up the stairs. 1, 2. I know. Get dad. Get dad. Tell him your pod starts in 4 minutes. Mama's got to get some whips going on in this place. Okay, so got it, you guys? So don't set up a strategy like when nobody would show up to my webinars back in the day, I would have to do a webinar like, okay, I'm gonna do a webinar every week. And then in my calendar, I would have like, I'm speaking in Facebook groups, or I'm prospecting Facebook groups or meetup groups or whatever to see if they bring in outside speakers for content and do like 15, 20, 30-minute sessions where I'm dropping a link to register for my webinar. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, you have to surprise yourself on how easy a new innovation to your strategy can happen if you start with scheduling it into your calendar. Okay, but you can't schedule something knowing darn well that nobody's going to show up and think, oh, well, I got it at least on the calendar. No, like, what are you doing to fill it? Okay, and that fills up the other pieces of the calendar. Got it? Yes? Okay. Alma, let's pop you up here. You guys got 1 minute. Put your running shoes on. Running shoes.
Remember to bring my VR headset and
I
my
got it.
binders and my iPad.
I got it.
And my iPad.
I got it.
And my iPad.
I heard it. Your iPad.
And my iPad.
Okay, out the door. Running shoes.
And my iPad. Oh yeah.
You're muted.
My
Zach,
iPad.
get out
My
now.
iPad.
Running shoes. Yep, this is what it looks like. For real. This is what it looks like. All right, I'm trying to unmute you, Alma. I don't, for some reason, it's not unmuting you. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to move forward for whatever reason. Oh, there, you did unmute for a second. Try again. There.
Good? Okay. Thank you.
You've got background noise. You have a phone on somewhere or something?
I do.
You're gonna have to turn the phone off or something. Okay, good?
Okay.
Okay, what's your question?
Okay. Yeah, I think so.
What's your
So
question?
my question is this: how do I connect my audience with the goal or the funnel that I'm working now? So let me conclude the whole thing. Sorry. My direction is as an affiliate marketing. Through all my life in my journey, I have
Emma,
the calling to help other people, not be alone.
For some reason we have,
Sorry.
or something, so hear what I'm saying this. What is your specific question? What's getting in the way of you being successful as an affiliate marketer?
So my question is this: how do I connect people that I want to help with the business that I am working with?
Okay,
I'm
so
building.
okay, so you build an email list. Everybody needs an email list. Go to retiremeshanda.com.
Yes,
Retire.
I'm working on that.
Okay, so everybody, listen to me. If you don't have an email list and a text message list, you need to go to retiremeshanda.com. February 5th, 6th, 7th, I'm doing a list power training. Go there. Zach, I heard you. Okay, so retiremeshanda.com. So you need to have a list. Then you need to know exactly who your avatar is, right? So you guys, when I build affiliate partnerships or network marketing or coaching, I am looking for people who I can rely on and build with. I am looking for people who this is a good fit for them. I'm not just looking for anybody. Do you guys hear what I'm saying? Yes. I'm not just looking for just anybody, right? Like I belong to a network marketing company. I have a coaching company. I also have a virtual assistant company, right? And so there's different avatars for different things. And so if you're looking for people to be part of your affiliate marketing, either to buy the product or to be part of the tiers to market with you, then you have to get clear on what's in it for them. Do you guys see what I'm saying? And to know what's in it for them, you have to know what people want. And marketing and sales is that simple. What do people want? And if it's something like, well, they just want money. No, but very rare, I shouldn't say nobody. Very rarely people do things for just money. That's a big mistake people make when they try and prospect me. They're like, oh, you can make all this extra money. I'm like, you don't understand. Like, yes, I like to make money, but like, that's not my pain point. Do you know what I mean? Like you need to know people's pain points. And then empathetically know what's in
So
it for you to jump in.
that's where I find my difficulty, because people I want to help, or where I feel my calling and my heart beating faster, is helping them, not feeling alone, or helping them. That's what happened actually in my life, helping people without giving them something to buy.
Okay, I gotta mute her. I gotta mute you, Emma, because we have a delay and it doesn't make it fun for people listening on the outside. So I'm gonna answer your question. You're prospecting the wrong people. If you need to be a therapist for them because they are feeling alone, you're in the wrong industry. You're selling the wrong product. Okay, and so listen to me. I'm not building somebody into my network marketing company or to come become a customer or client of mine that needs me to fill a void of them feeling alone. You know why? Because it's going to need too much of me. And those guys are not going to go perform in business. They need a therapist. They need a community. They need maybe retreats and things like that. Do you guys get what I'm saying? Like they like, don't get me wrong. I have entrepreneurs that feel alone. I have a great friend of mine that one of her big goals is I want more girlfriends around me, but that isn't what drives her. Do you guys get what I'm saying? Like when it comes to business. So you're selling an affiliate product. That's not the hook. You get what I'm saying? Because you're going to pull the wrong person. All right. So you need to go back and just say, do you want to make money in this industry? Then you need to ask yourself, who are the people who want to make money that are not going to require you to fluff their feathers, and redesign your alignment. Okay. All right. Melanie Graff, jump up.
Hey, Shanda, how do you explain to a potential spouse this business? And if he's non-techie, it's kind of like thinking that it's going to be too difficult to marry a person who can't even, work his own phone, and trying to explain this business.
Okay. I'm not sure. What is the business? Oh, you're muted for some reason.
It's your list power intensive summit, online show, and selling through your system.
Okay, so what is what's I'm not sure what's the sale here? I'm just trying to figure out where you're trying to go here.
Selling to corporations a training program to increase them, make their salespeople top producers.
Okay, so I'm not sure where's the I'm sorry, I'm missing your block. So you're going to your customer is the corporate, right?
Right.
And you want to go in and train their salespeople to become top salespeople, right?
Right.
Okay, so what about techie? I'm not sure. Honestly, what you should be doing right now to stay in business is you should be going, in my opinion, and learning how AI is setting 50 to 60 sales calls a day for their salespeople to close. And you need to get ahead, you can't be a fax machine, right? Because the fax machine went out of business overnight, but it wasn't really overnight. AI has been around for the last 25, 30 years. It's just the average Joe Blow didn't see the tidal wave coming, even though I was telling them 4.5 years ago, right? And so to stay in business in your industry, you need to bring something different, which is, hey, corporation, I'm sure you want your teams to speak to more people, to be higher closers. I can show them how to do that, but I can also save your company money by showing you how to put in artificial intelligence bots to be able to book calls for your salespeople. I guarantee you, with your background, Melanie, on understanding sales and how to have the initial conversation, which is the AI bot, that you can figure this out probably, honestly, in the next week to 2. Anybody can, by the way, but everybody won't yet. But in another year and a half from now, everybody will. So you need to realize, and all you guys need to hear me when I say this, you need to get your freaking money in check. You need to get your customer base in check. You need to get your strong, contracts in check, because there are over 300,000 jobs going away in the next couple of years. Right? And one of them is sales. I'm not saying closer sale of people. I'm saying setters. I'm saying that it's going away, you guys. And so you guys all need to skill up in these areas and figure it out. Okay, so you can learn this in a couple weeks. Okay, and you want to do this, and you want to go be probably one of the first people. Well, there are people doing this right now, and go prospect your ideal business to businesses that you do well with their salespeople, because there's certain industries you probably do better in, and then introduce this, do it for them, or hire, a tech person on Upwork to do it for them, and make that part of their retainer for you. It'll cost you something very low to do it. Charge them like $25,000 or $30,000 to put this in for a lifetime, and then get a contract to train their salespeople. That is an appropriate sale right now.
Excellent.
Okay?
Love it. Thank you.
You're welcome. So good. Keep me in the loop. Damara.
Thanks, Shanda. I feel like I'm in a pressure cooker all the time. And this week particularly, you say pressure is a privilege, and I try to take that in. This week, it does not. I'm still doing the things that I need to do, but it's like, when is the shit gonna stop?
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable what's happened.
when you become relentless to stop tolerating it, right? So there's a big goal that I had in my business. And so there's this big goal that I had in my business, and I got the idea last year, and I started to talk about it. And then what I noticed is, you know how I tell you, like, put it in your calendar? I didn't put this big idea in my calendar. I would call winging it, right? So I was kind of having some casual conversations on the side, but I wasn't driving anything to a close, right? And you know, whether it was I was nervous or scared or whatever was going on, I just wasn't doing it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I wasn't 100% committed to doing it until I just put it in my calendar, right? And then I set a weekly target. I'm gonna have this complete by, you know, last Friday or 2 months ago or whatever it was, right? And set the target. So you've got some things that you're tolerating and it's taking you out, and you need to stop tolerating it, right? And so the best advice I can tell you is, I had this big aha that every problem I had in my life was because of a low standard, like a standard that I had grown out of. And when I saw that, it gave me my power back, because I was like, okay, now I can stop blaming other people or thinking other people or feeling like I'm a victim or I can't handle something. The truth is that I've moved to a new standard. And so now I need to sit down and draft out a new plan on what needed to shift and what doors need to close and what ones need to open, and what decisions I needed to make that I could not afford to bring into this year. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
I have full faith in you. You know what to do, but can't do it with a blaming victim heart. Okay, because you still won't have your power. You have to literally write down the things that are driving you nuts, and then ask yourself, how am I responsible for this?
Yeah, I've really been doing that. Like, what's my responsibility in this? What's my responsibility?
Yeah, and not your 50% responsibility, like your 50% or 10% or whatever part of the percentage that you are involved in that frustration in your life. It doesn't really matter the percentage. Like, it doesn't matter if somebody's 90% the problem. It's irrelevant.
Right.
You have a 10% choice somewhere that you have made to have this be a reality. Does that make sense, you guys? Like, if you're married to somebody who keeps cheating on you and you want to be a victim and sit on my couch and talk about it, I'm sorry, I'm going to say to you, hey, I'm going to have empathy for about an hour. I'm not kidding you. I would be like, seriously, they've cheated on you 3 times.
Yeah.
Okay, do you know what the scriptures say? Like, there's your out. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what to tell you, but I cannot have empathy for a long period of time for myself or anybody else, because I don't want to be a victim. The cost, you guys, is, yeah, and I get that from you. That's why you're just like, but you still have some like, when is this thing gonna end? Like, when is it gonna come together? It's like, and when you lead it differently, you know, actually, the way you figure out how to lead it differently is write down the frustrating points and then ask yourself, where am I responsible for this? And what do I need to shift right now? Right? Gail's in the chat right now saying, go to joinhclnow.com. Right, y'all? Like, joinhclnow.com. There's 2 options to get, like, I think it's like 48% off on my program right now. If you do it now, you're going to be set up by the summer. Crush it. But you guys who know that you have situations like this and you need help, literally go to joinhclnow.com. Don't even let yourself go to sleep, right? It's a 4-month program. There's 2 workshops in it, one for 3 days. You can't work when you do it. You got to give it to yourself. Vision is 3 days. It's like cracking, it's like cracking an eggshell and realizing, oh my gosh, I have a new vision. I know how to solve that. I know how I have been responsible for that. And now I know exactly what I want to do. However, a lot of people don't follow through. So after the 3-day vision, there's a 4-day breakthrough. It's all virtual. You do it online, right? There's a 4-day breakthrough. The 4-day breakthrough takes the eggshell down. So now you're able to follow through and do what you said that you want to do. You have the courage, you're ready to go. Then you have 90 days where we have a 99% success rate right now. So some of you guys who feel like the rug's been pulled out from underneath you, you feel like, oh my gosh, I've done things and they haven't come together. It's like, listen, we have 99% success rate in that program. That is a good security blanket for you, that the chances of this program working, I have a flash sale on it right now, right? Join hclnow.com. In the third section of the program for 90 days, you set a goal and test the program. Be part of the 99% that gets the results this year, and then set a big audacious goal. If it's money you need, put money in there, right? If it's whatever, you want to break into a new market and get, you want to start selling 2-year agreements with you in corporate. I don't know what your goals are, but you do. Do you guys see what I'm saying? Like, this is the problem. People don't take action on the things that can help them get there, and doing it over trial and error is highly risky. So go to joinhclnow.com. There's a payment plan if you need that, or there's a pay in full. Option 1 is a pay in full. With option 1, I will give you a February 20th relationship and marriage training with Michael Strasner. He's the one who turned my husband around when I broke up with him 17 times in one day. Notice I said it was him, not me. Right? So in 5 minutes, he turned our relationship from havoc to harmony, for real. 5 minutes. Okay, I've watched this man walk into a room and see people and go, that person had their mother leave them. That person was sexually abused by a man that was close to them. That person has been abandoned. That person's adopted. That person's this. That person's been stolen from their entire life. And I watched him walk into a room, and we used to do it in a room, and walk up to 5 people in a row. And he was 100% right, never asked them a question, and said, I'm sorry that your mother raped you. Waterworks. What does that tell you? What does that tell me? That we walk around as a billboard. And the world is responding to our billboard. And if we don't get our shit right, guess what's going to keep happening? Trial and error takes too long. It takes too long to try and habitually change, right? So if you know you need this program, you go to joinhclnow.com. That page will come down. It is a flash kind of beginning of the year. I've been pretty quiet about it, to be really honest, is to get yourself in the training. We're sold out for this month, but we have another one in March that you can get yourself into, which means you'll be ready by the summer. I know that's a long time, but what are your chances of succeeding without it? Inching up. I don't know about you, but that's taking too long in my life, right? So, my darling, I'm going to let you jump off. But you know what to do. I want you to do it right now. I don't want you to wait to do the coaching I just gave you and then go make the decision tonight. Okay? Awesome. So good. Nina. Yeah, Nina. Let's go, Nina. Let's go.
Oh my God, I love you so much. So I've been listening to you, and here's one thing I want you to tell me or guide me in getting my shit together like right now, right? Because I haven't been in this position where I'm under fucking water, right? So I'm like listening to you with the HCL thing, and I'm like, I would love to join, but I literally have 2 jobs. I've sold everything, like your list, all of that stuff. So I'm like, frustrated.
What is it? Fund?
Yeah, I've done that, and I wasn't approved, and that's why I'm asking, because I do have your, I do your $30 a month thing because I could afford that, but I'm like under freaking water right now, and I'm
let's get you out,
Shanda.
Yeah, let's get you out. So give me a second. Hey, Keith, what is the funding link for those guys?
I just put it in the chat.
Fundyourfreedomnow.com. If you're on Instagram, you can grab that too. Fundyourfreedomnow.com. I've used a lot of funding companies to try and help my clients, and they've all been shit. Like, it is like pulling teeth. Like, the amount of work it's taken from our company to try and help people with the funding companies, it's just not something I'm willing to do or can do. That company, great. So fundyourfreedomnow.com. If you go to that, that's a company that we worked with at Zone Event for people. And there was like $5 million funded in the room. Even if you don't need funding, you should go see if you can get it. Right? It is powerful. Like you get discounts when you pay for things like coaching or rent. Like if you're renting a house right now, like you get discounts if you offer pay in full options, right? Like get ahead, guys. You get what, if you can avoid paying monthly coaching fees and you can just get a discount to pay for the year, that's a profitable thing to do because it holds in the seat to do the work. And it also takes cash flow off. You know what I mean? You can focus on creating cash flow. So, have you done the 50 ways to find the money?
Yeah, you had given us the list. So I've been, that's why I got a second side gig, a job. And then I went and sold my furniture and sold some things and all that kind of stuff. But I'm still like, and I just heard you talk about how you let go of the foreclosures and you were like, it is what it is. And so I've had to kind of do that with a lot of debt, right? So that I can go back and settle it later. And that's
my stepdad taught me something really powerful when I was losing my homes. He said, don't take a settlement. And I said, why? And he goes, because if you do, you get taxed on, at least in America, you get taxed on the other part as income. For me, that would have been millions of dollars and I didn't generate that income, right? And so I would have just cashed in one problem for another problem. So he said, let them take you to court. And he goes, they probably won't, but if they do, that's where you would negotiate, here's what I'm willing to pay, but I don't want that debt shown as income. I want it written off. Anyway, long story short, they didn't take me to court and I walked, right? I know in places like Canada and stuff, that's very rare that something like that can happen. But the good old American, like it happens in America. And so, here's what I know, there's just always a way. And a big portion of what creates lack or failure, like real failure, like continuous failure. And I'm going to paraphrase a story with Joe DeSena on Spartan races, because I think it'll help manage your mind. But I never found that I could get out of a sticky situation when my mind was still a mess. It's almost like, this is why writing what I'm proud of myself for and why twice a day, even if you said I'm going to do this for 30 days straight, which is a lot, and you put it in the calendar so you don't miss it, and you have a meeting with yourself, or you have a post-it on your bed thing that says, what I'm proud of myself for and why. The why is really important. Remember that success comes from an idea. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, a thought before you reach success. And so if your thoughts are on, I'm a loser, I'm in debt, like everything's freaking not working, like I feel so freaking stressed out. When you are in that emotional energy, it is, some people can muscle through it. But I just find a lot of people who don't have extreme amounts of drive. So you get a man with low testosterone, a man who's hit his 40s, and usually you've got some testosterone problems. Or you get a woman that's, not particularly driven or has hormonal issues as well, whatever that looks like, right? What didn't come from a family that made it tough. You know what I mean? Like, I want to make things tougher for my kid. Like, I don't want to make it easier. I want to make it tougher. I want to see how he works through hard times, anyway. So if you don't have that set up, right, then most of us don't know how to work, or we know how to burn through the day, but we don't actually know how to work on the things that scare the shit out of us, that actually will result, right? Like, if I told all of you guys to go get booked on a stage today, and if you don't, I'm going to take your car. I'm going to tell you there are people that could still not get booked on a stage because their leadership is that bad. Right? And that's the equivalent to, I'm in debt or I'm underwater and I could get booked on a stage today, but I still can't get myself to do it. And so instead I'm facing the sleepless night again. Worried, scared, and when's the light? The light's already here. It never left you. It never left you. Right? And so every single person whether you're a speaker or not, could go contribute value about any topic, even if it's not going to be your business forever, and give advice and consult people. Do you guys get what I'm saying? Like, even if you don't want to consult people, and this is what drives me crazy about the world, they're like, oh my God, I just don't want to do that. Well, then effing be broke. Because I don't know what to tell you. Like, every single person has the ability to generate income today. You could go sell your advice on parenting. I don't want a parenting business. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Go help people who you did something well, and go help them and make some money, and then get on to what you want to do.
Mhm.
Like, I'm really, do you know that like at Zone Event, right? Like our event, I go in the general bathrooms and pick up toilet paper in the women's bathroom. Why would I do that? Well, if the hotel isn't doing it, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do it because I want my client or potential customer to have a good experience when they walk in the restroom. If I could walk, I mean, I guess maybe today I can walk into the men's restroom. I don't know if that's allowed or not. But like, my point is that, you get it? Like, I'm going to do whatever. I'm going to dig the ditch.
I love that.
And that is something that people are not willing to do. And then they wonder why they don't have an army of people that are buying from them. You're not qualified, y'all, if you're not willing to dig the ditch. Because what people need is leadership in the world. What people need is somebody who's willing to drop their entitlement or what they want or their emotions or their fear and actually get out there and do what it takes. That's what makes somebody say, I will invest in you, your company, your product, your service. Will you do what you don't want to do? Because you have that you're going to do that to get there. Are you guys hearing me? Put yes in the chat if you do. Put yes in the chat if you're hearing me right now.
So good.
Right? Okay, so everybody, you can test me on this, and you're going to get some no's, and you're going to get some rejections. I saw somebody put Mark Victor Hansen, Jack Canfield. I can't remember because I don't hang out with Mark anymore. But when him and Crystal lived in Newport Beach, and Newport Beach, and I lived in Laguna, I used to hang out with them a lot. And I can't remember the story, but like Mark and Jack Canfield, literally, they had hundreds of no's for Chicken Soup for the Soul. And they sat in a room as accountability partners, and they hit the frickin' phones. And they sat in a room, boom, 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 boom. No, it's not good enough. Don't like that name. No, I don't know you. You're not big enough. You don't have a list. You know what? You get what I'm saying? Like, they hit it. They put their books in backpacks and walked the floor of trade shows and gave out their books. Like, what? Like, I don't know what to tell you, but there is no way to get out of where you guys are at without that type of hustle. And unfortunately, the spiritual world and the broke ass people are out there, and especially the ones that have made a little bit of money, and they think that six figures, like I made $100,000, like somehow they're like business gurus now, where you're freaking broke if you're making $100,000. You're broke. You're broke. Everybody making $100,000 right now, you know you're broke. You are broke. It is not enough money. Right? And so my point is those guys are out there influencing these micro audiences. And I know, I'm very well aware there's probably some watching me right now. Stop it. Stop telling people that they have to live in the flow all the time. That's bullshit. Okay, because takes a lot of courage to dig the ditches when you don't want to dig the ditches, and you are part of the devil's plan holding people back if you're giving advice. Stop being used to give out wrong information. Okay, you know what it took to make your six figures. You know what's going to take to make your multiple six figures. You know it's going to take more from you to make $1 million. You know it's going to take a lot for you to have the courage to hire people and give up some of the money that's not enough yet to be able to get ahead. Like, you know that none of this feels good. None of this is in the flow. There are moments where it's in the flow and it feels amazing. I call that the zone. And you get a lot of work done. But it's these pockets. And it's filled with all of this ditch digging around it. You guys get what I'm saying?
Good.
My darling, I'm going to encourage you to not go to bed unless you've reached out to 40 people before you go to bed. Go dig the frickin' ditch.
I'm going to start right now. Thank you.
Get off the live. Go work.
Yeah.
Get off. Okay? All right. Awesome. Andrea Wood.
Yay. Okay. I just, I have so many ideas that I don't know where to start. So I did my first summit. It's actually running right now. And
Cutting out right now. So can you just ask me the one question so it helps everybody hear?
okay. What do you do when you have a million different visions that you could all see sustainable? Like, just pick one and run with it.
Yeah, see, you guys all have your answers. This is why leadership is so important, and it's why I did a flash sale on joinhclnow.com, right? This is because everything's leadership. You already know what you need to do. So she has a million problems, or not a million problems, Instagram. She has a million ideas, and she actually can see them all working, which is a blessing because there's a lot of people out there that can't see one. So you're brilliant. And you obviously have a great ability as a CEO to see and solve problems. And so that's going to work for you. Okay, Andrea, it's going to work for you. And so what you need to do at this point is the same thing I did. When I started this business, I came from real estate into this world. And I really kind of probably getting a little spiritual, but I had an encounter with God that I heard an audible voice, and it was loud. And it was telling me to leave the guy I was dating and to start a coaching business. I didn't know what a coaching business was, but the only thing I had a reference point, and funny enough, this guy actually messaged me yesterday, a guy by the name of Robert Evans, who had a course called Habit of Attraction. I had done it online because I knew I needed to change my habits, right? To go to the next level, I knew that I needed to become a better human at being proficient in taking action, which is leadership. And so I called Robert and I said, I want to launch a product, program, service, but I don't have a list. I don't have an audience. Like, would you promote me? And he said, yes, I've always thought you should be in this industry. And he gave me 24 hours to create a program. So then I had to come up, I only had 24 hours. So the accountability, the blessing for me was I had the accountability of this guy who was my mentor at the time. He was going to promote me to his 100,000 person list. Talk about these miracle doors, these moments. You guys, you're backed by heaven. If you would just,
Yes.
if you would just give up the need to be stuck, which is really a lack of courage. You're just not making a decision. Like, she already knows she has all these ideas and she can see how they all could work. Really, it's like she already knows she just needs to pick one. Because if she picks one and commits to seeing it through, then that's going to open up a new door. And my experience is, like, when I had 24 hours to come up with an idea for a business, and he was going to promote me the next day, right? I was like, do I want to do something spiritual or do I want to do something business? Right? Like, I've just always had this business mind, but I wasn't a digital marketer. I wasn't, like, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, I don't even really know how to teach business. I don't really know how to teach spirituality. And I don't really know, like, it was like, that was me committing to be stuck. But because I had Robert meeting me the next day, and I knew that door would close. What door is going to close on your destiny if you don't make a decision now? Everybody write that down. What door is going to close on your destiny that if you don't make a decision now, you're going to miss it? Okay, it's a powerful question. So I knew that door was going to close, and Robert wasn't going to just leave it open. He had other promotions going on. If he was going to promote me, it needed to happen now. So I sat on the floor, and at that time I wasn't into the Bible. I was into crystals. Now I'm into the Bible. I don't go to a rock to tell me what to do. I go to God, right? But at that time, I put crystals all around me. I sat on the floor and I just prayed, meditated, whatever I could figure out how to do. Really, I was trying to manage my energy and emotions to just get myself to have courage to make a decision. Because I didn't know if it was going to be business or it was going to be spiritual. Does that make sense, you guys? I was pretty much confused everywhere in my life. And I still made it, and so you will too, right? Because every decision leads you to the next success and the next problem, right? And so I made a decision to do business. But I literally kind of did a law of attraction thing in business, but didn't really know I did that. And what I did was I called something the art of receiving money. And I showed people how to have a positive mindset to notice what's working in their life. And I sold it for $3,000. And I think it was a 7-week course for $3,000. And I got like 6 or 7 buyers on that instant teleseminar conference call. And I sat in my car in the pitch black because I was driving before I did the conference call because I was so darn nervous. I was so scared. I was so nervous, but Robert went and promoted the call and people came on and I just shared a little bit of content, made the offer and gave a way to buy. I didn't have a sales page, anything. I think I had a PayPal link at the time, right? That I had to go find a virtual assistant, which happened to be his dad, and his dad created the link for me. That was my first virtual assistant, right? And so I share this with you because now, like, I don't hide my love for God. I don't hide my love for peak performance. I don't feel like I have to fit into your belief systems, y'all. And you don't have to fit into mine. I'm Christian. One of my best friends is gay. I think it's a sin to be gay or transgender. And she doesn't give a shit that I think that. We love each other. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's okay. I have another girlfriend who likes Biden. And at one point I was into Trump. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I remember at that time we're sitting at a table and we had the best conversation. And she was like, I can't even hear you talk like this. Right. And I'm like, but look at the taxes. Look at this. She's like, I can't stand him. He's such a sexist. You know what I mean? But Allison Maslin and I always have differences of opinion when it comes to politics. And we are really good friends. Right. Like, I don't know why we've all bought into this idea that we all have to think the same, believe the same, have exactly the same value systems in every area of our life in order to be friends or learn from each other. We just don't. So when I didn't have the courage to talk like that, that's when I was stuck. So my darling, it's time to have courage. You don't get to go to sleep tonight without picking your product, your service, and I want you to draw an outline of what are the steps you're going to put into it for people to succeed. Know what the deliverable is, and do not go to bed until you do that, okay? And then just let it be good enough. I want everybody that has this problem to write this on a piece of paper. Let it be good enough, okay? And move forward. Got it? So good. Okay. I'm going to turn off social media and I'm going to just jump on a little bit more with the on-demand group. If you are sitting on the fence and you know that you need leadership, do not hesitate on this, okay, you guys? Go to joinhclnow.com. I do not have the link Instagram in the bio, so if you can't figure out joinhclnow.com, then go send me a direct inbox message and I'll send you the link later today. But I have a flash sale on a 4-month program that will show you how to get into the driver's seat. Unleash yourself from the need to people please other people, because you are not going to make the money you want until you become the leader that is required to move your movement forward. Your business, your bank account, all reflects your leadership skills. Okay, because the bigger the leader, the less how-to they need. They just need the idea and they'll go figure out how. If you're not operating at that level right now, you need to go to joinhclnow.com before I take down the flash sale. There's a payment plan if you need a payment plan, or there's an option one, which is a pay in full. That pay in full option, you can go to joinhclnow.com and see what those prices are. But the pay in full comes with a marriage. You want to put your marriage or some of you are going to get married to, or some of you got a life partnership with. We're going to do a marriage training on February 20th. You don't have to pay for it on the pay in full option. We'll give it to you. We will also give you our 4-hour sales training on called Style Flex Selling, which guess what? you come and try and sell a controller and you try and convince them or push them, you will lose the sale. You run up against an analytical person and they drive you nuts because you're a controller or a promoter. And you're like, oh my gosh, I hate it when I get analyzers. It's like, you need to know how to communicate with all the different quadrants so you can make a big difference in the world with whatever your product, service, or offer is. All right, you guys. So Keith, you can go ahead and turn off social, join hclnow.com, and I'll see you on Monday.